Hi there, and welcome to today's episode of A Different Way of Seeing, a podcast where we talk all things disability. I'm your host, Lois Strachan, and today we are being joined by a guest all the way from the country of France. And I think that he is my first guest from France. So, Guillaume, welcome to the podcast. And I didn't introduce you by name because I really wanted to allow you to say your name and pronounce it the correct way. So, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little of your story?
Okay, thank you very much for hosting me in this podcast. I'm always happy to talk about blindness and to share my stories. My name is Guillaume. I am 32 years old. I live in France. First, I want to apologize for my English. It's not very perfect, but I will try to be understandable. And I hope everybody will understand me. What I can say more, I have a son. He's 5 years old. I have a wife. She's from Indonesia. I met her online 10 years ago. I lived with her there in Indonesia. We have our house there. It's in the Java Island. And now we are in France for 3 years. And my son is at school. I live in Angers. It's a city in the northwest of France, not far from Paris. Maybe 2 or 3 hours by train.
Ah,
And it's near Nantes, Bordeaux, some cities like this. And I work online. I am an online writer. I write articles for factories' websites. I write product descriptions in French and some articles for the SEO. The SEO is search engine optimization. It's for the companies to have their articles and their contents on the first page of Google and the things like this. And that's what I do. And my project is to go back to Indonesia one day, maybe in 2 or 3 years. We are collecting money and try to build a big project to be able to live there. And yeah, that's it.
the one thing that you haven't mentioned is a little about your visual impairment because we
Yeah.
met through a group around the blind topic of blindness. So tell us a little of the story of your eye conditions.
Yeah, I am blind. When I was born, I was born with an illness, genetic. It's a RP, retina pigmentosa. We say in French, rétinite pigmentaire. So before I was able to see a little bit. I mean, I didn't walk with a cane. I could walk by my own. I could play football. I could make bicycle. In French, we rate the vision on 10. When you see very well, you have a 10 on 10. You have the mark 10 on
Ah,
10. And me, I
yes.
had 0.5 on 10, something like this. But
Ah,
even for the sighted people, when you say to them you have 0.5 on 10, they imagine, whoa, you can't see anything. But
mm,
you can actually. You just don't see very well the details of the face of the people. You can see the eyes, the colors of the eyes, and but you see some shapes. You can do some things actually. So I lived like this during several years. But at 16, I lost almost all my sight in one day. So since I am 16 years old, I can't see anymore. I just can see the light. And so I have to live. I had to live differently to learn to use the cane, to learn Braille because before I could read the normal text with big letters, but I could read. So yeah, it's a different life, but it's fine.
I always say that different is only different. And because I do something in a different way, it doesn't mean that my way is any less good.
Yeah,
It is just different.
yeah.
Um, Thank you. And I also believe that you have a strong interest in travel and you're starting to do some work in that area. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your work in the travel area?
My traveling experiences started because I didn't mention it, but I am also a player of blind tennis. So I
Ah,
play the tennis for the blind. I discovered this sport online one day. I don't know why. I was typing on Google. How can blind people play tennis or
mm,
some sentences like this? And I found an article online. It was a club in England where blind people were playing tennis. So I contacted the journalist and I said, please, can you send me the contact of this club? I am French and I want to discover this because I am a fan of tennis since I born. I
yes.
love to watch it on TV. I always go to Roland Garros, but I didn't imagine it was possible for the blind. So, but yeah, it's possible. So I went to England. I discovered the sport, and after I brought to France the ball. It's a special ball. It makes some sound, and with this ball you can play tennis like everybody because you listen the ball. The tennis court is just a little bit smaller, and the rackets also are smaller, and the net is a little bit down compared to the normal net. But it's almost the same sport, the same rules, but we use the sound ball. And I started to, so I make a trip to England, and after I made a trip to Italy for the Blind Tennis Congress. I also participated in different tournaments in England again, in Birmingham, and in Spain, in Benidorm, near Mallorca. Some places like this, and after I met my wife online, as I said, and I moved to Indonesia. Um, so I married there. It was a very nice. First, before my marriage with my wife, we made a trip all around the Java Island to meet the blind people. I made a documentary about them, about how they live there, something like this. In the beginning, my project was to bring some books for them, to bring some computers for them, but I had my marriage and I have a lot of things to do, so I little bit stopped this project. But yeah, so after this trip around the blind schools in Indonesia, I made my marriage. My French family came in Indonesia. It was very nice time for me. My mom, my brothers, my sister, everybody there in Indonesia in the village. We made a beautiful marriage. And after I lived there almost 2 or maybe 3 years, we built a house, and but it was a little bit difficult to find enough money because my job online was not enough for my family, and so I went back to France, and now my project is to build like a travel agency because I'm really passionate about Indonesia. I love this country, and I want to make it discover to the French people and maybe to some foreigners also because I can speak English. So I want to build, yeah, like a travel agency. Like it will be for everybody, for the classic tourist, but also for the blind and visually impaired tourists. So for these people, for the blind and visually impaired people, I want to provide them some guides who can accompany them during the trips that I will propose. It will be maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and they will have a guide with them all along the trip, and this guide will help them to walk and to go in the hotel and to go in the beach, to walk in the volcano, and I have like some activities like this to propose. So this project is not yet done. I am in the phase of building it, so maybe it will be ready next year or something like this. And yeah, that's my project. So my travel experience is mostly about Indonesia, but I have some other countries also because of blind tennis. That's it.
Okay. I had never heard of blind tennis. So the one question you explained a lot of the
Mm.
similarities and what is different from sighted tennis. But the one thing that I'm really curious about is the the balls that you use. What are they made of? Because my understanding is that the blind cricket balls are in some way metal, and that I can imagine they don't really bounce that well. But in
Mm.
tennis, the bounce of the tennis ball is important.
Yes,
So
yes.
what are the blind tennis balls actually constructed from?
I will show it to you because I have it not far from me. So I will go to my bag and to take it. It's I think in
Yes.
English they say the foam. Um, it's this is the sound of the ball. I think you can see it in the camera. It's it's a big ball. It's soft, so it's not hard. So if it hits your face, it's not dangerous. And inside this big foam ball, you have table tennis ball. We call it in French ping pong.
Mm,
And in
mm.
in this table tennis ball, you have some like bells. So that's like this, and you can make bounce the ball on the floor. Uh, it didn't bounce very high,
Mm,
but
mm.
maybe it bounces near your knee or
Ah,
your belly. Your It's not very high like the normal tennis ball who can go tip the head, because us, we don't see the ball, we just listen the sound of it. So it's easier if it's bounce low. So you don't have
yes,
too many space to cover, because if it
yes,
go too high, it's very complicated. So they made it like this, I think, to not bounce too high. And that's good because yeah, if it hits your face, not dangerous, not painful, and it didn't bounce too high. So yeah, but even with those facilities, the blind tennis is good, but it's a very difficult sport,
I can
because
imagine.
the
Yes,
ball is fast, the ball is small, and you have to put your racket exactly in the good place to hit it. And not only to hit it, but you have to make it past the net, and you have to make it in the good direction. And so
mm,
a lot of parameters, of settings, that you have
mm,
to
mm.
manage. And so me in the beginning, in the first year, I was not able at all to touch the ball. In the
Ah,
second year, I was able to touch it. And in the third year, I was able to place it well in the court. So, you need a lot of trying and fighting and struggling. And some people, they give up because they say, no, this sport is too complicated for me. I will never succeed. But, if you want to play it, you have to fight hard because you have to like it.
yes.
So that's it. That's why it's not very popular. In France, we are just maybe 15 people who play it, but it's really popular in England, in Australia, and that's it. And it was created in Japan in the 80s. So it's a quite old sport, but it was created in the 80s in Japan by the Japanese man, Japanese blind man, and after it only became popular in Europe and in the rest of the world in the beginning of the 2010 years, 2010,
Mm.
2011, 2012. So it's quite new, actually. The first Congress of the International Blind Tennis Association was in 2010. So
Oh,
it's not very, it's quite new.
yes.
Yeah. So, but it's good. It makes me travel and make
Yeah.
sport, and that's good.
Well, thank you for explaining that. That's
Pleasure.
fascinating. I have no idea. Okay. So I'm curious about the experiences that you've had growing up and living as a blind person in France, because I've visited France and love the country, love the diversity of the country. But I don't live there, and I'm usually there with my sighted husband. So my need for accessibility is minimal when I'm traveling there. So I'm curious to learn a little bit more about what it was like for you as a late teenager and you're in your 20s and just growing up and experiencing the world as a blind person, about the schooling or
Yeah.
the accessibility, the awareness, the societal awareness. So tell us a bit about that.
Okay. Um, since I discover how the blind people live in Indonesia, I
Mm,
always say now that in France the accessibility is amazing, perfect,
yeah.
wonderful. I can't even criticize. Before it, I always criticize, but now I can't anymore. So we are very lucky here because we have everything. So first, when you go to the street, you would have the red lights who will ring when it's red and will stop to ring when it's green. So you know when you have to cross the street. You have in the floor, in the sidewalk, you have something that you can touch with your feet to know where is the place to cross, so
Mm.
the zebra cross, it's indicated like this, so you know where to go, how to cross. All the sidewalks are very clean, very big, very wide, so you can walk easily with your cane or with your guide dog if you have one. And you want to take the bus, no problem. The bus also has the voice, so it will always say next stop this one, next stop this one, be careful. Same when you want to take the train, you can call the train station and you can say, okay, hello, I am blind, I will travel tomorrow to this place. My train number is this one, my time is this one. And they will say, okay, no problem, someone will accompany you to your train, to your place. So do you have an employee of the train station who will wait for you and will accompany you till your place. And when you will arrive to the other station, someone will also be waiting for you to help you to go where you want to go. For the money, if you don't work, you have the allocation. We call it allocation. It's
Mm.
like the money from government that they will give to you if you are blind or visually impaired. And this money is almost the same than the average salary of normal
Oh,
people. So you
yeah.
you you have the philosophy here in France is like, okay, it will be very difficult for you as a blind to find a job.
Mm.
So it's not normal that you don't have the same money and the same chances that everybody. So we give this one to you. If you don't find a job, okay, you have the same chances as everybody. You don't have to stay in your house with your parents, and in Indonesia it's like this. If you are blind and you can't find a work, you don't have any money, so you stay with your parents all your life. You don't have independent
Yes.
life, nothing. But here they give it to you. Uh, when I say all of that, I have to say also the negative points little bit. I mean, it was not easy for me. The thing not easy for me was not these accessibility things, but was the interaction with the people, was the to make friends, to to be a part of the world, of the world, sorry. In the school, I was in a boarding school. So this
Mm.
boarding school was a school for the blind, but we just sleep there with all the blind people. But we went in the normal school, the classic schools. So when we went to the school, we just stayed together, the blind people, but the other people, the sighted people, they didn't talk to us.
Mm, mm,
They leave us alone, and they say, oh, maybe those people are a little bit strange. They have big disabilities. So yeah, they don't talk to you. So I had all my time at school like this, like suffering from being left behind. When you have all your classmates who make party together in the weekend, and in the Monday morning they say hello to each other, but to you, it's like you don't exist. You are invisible. You are with them, but you are not really with them. So it was hard for me, this one. And same after to find a job. It's good that the government give this money to you, but it has also a negative aspect. It's like if you struggle to find a job, you will try to call a company, and you will try to have some interviews, and it will be hard. They will make discrimination to you, and you will easily say to yourself, okay, actually, I have enough money to live. Those people don't want to accept me in their world, so I stay in mine. So no need to involve in their things. They don't want me in their company. They don't want me in their schools, in their groups. So okay, leave me alone. Thank you. I have my money. I don't need you to survive. So I know a lot of people. Me also, it was my case before I met my wife, and I traveled a lot like this. But before, I was like the majority of my friends, my blind friends, staying in my flat, and yeah, just let the days pass. And don't, yeah, just receive the money in the beginning of the month, and okay, watch TV, listen radio, and just it. So that's what I can say. You can live really comfortable here, but to be a part of the society like everybody, it's challenging,
mm.
because you feel like invisible. The other people, yeah, they don't. I think we don't have a lot of solidarity and of helping. Uh, the people are quite ignorant. I mean, they don't take care of you. Yeah, they just let you live, because I think the sighted people, they also see that everything is made for you. I mean, you are able to walk alone, you have money, and you have your flat, and so they
Mm,
don't need to
mm.
help you too much. That's fine for you. So yeah, like this.
That's really interesting because the kind of concepts now I
Mm,
live in South Africa, and we have some strong elements of first world countries and many elements of third world countries. We have an extreme situation of poverty, and education is difficult to acquire, and low literacy, low employment, and not just the people with disabilities, but it's
mm,
also so in the case of people with disabilities. But we do have, I feel, in many areas, the social inclusion is fairly good.
Cool.
Not employment and things like that. But so I
Mm,
find it we always have this concept that in America, in Europe, in England, everything is wonderful.
yeah,
Everything is easy
yeah,
if you are blind. And maybe from what you've told us, maybe every country has its own challenges, its own
yeah.
difficulties in terms of inclusion of people with disabilities. Do you have a sense of what the experience is like of people living with other disabilities in France?
Little bit, but I think our disability, I don't know, I will say is almost one of the worst, I think,
Mm,
to develop your social relationship with the not disabled people. Because when you when you are blind, you don't watch, you don't see the people,
mm,
you can't really know who is here, who is
mm, mm,
going to you, and it's quite. I will give an example to try to make understand this one. For example, I accompany my son. He is sighted, my son. Each morning I accompany him to school, and I arrive in the school, and nobody talk to me.
mm,
I mean, and for me also, sometimes I want to try to talk to them, but uh, I'm quite afraid because sometimes you will say hello, but the person was not really in front of you, didn't listen what you say. Maybe this person was in the phone, at the headset, so don't listen you. I don't know. It's but when you have another disability, you can see. So even if you are in the wheelchair, you can see the people, you can recognize them. So I don't know if yesterday you say hello to someone, you see again the same person, so you say again hello to this one, and you start to building a relationship. For me, I find it very challenging with my disability, and I don't know. It's not. It's my own story. Maybe some other French who are blind will say different thing,
mm.
but when I compare also with all my friends, we are almost in the same situation, the same fights, the same struggle. Yeah, to find friends and to be accepted in the society. So it's very interesting what you are talking about because uh, I always say this one to the blind people that I know in Indonesia. I say, you are in the third world country, you don't have a lot of money, but when you go to the street, the people will talk to you, the people will help you.
Mm.
Your neighbors will involve to your life, they will care. But if you come to France, yeah, you will have a lot of money. I mean, enough money. You will be able to go everywhere alone, but alone. You will be alone
Yes.
in your flat, and so it's not sure it's better. Uh, that's
Uh,
it.
it's
Yeah,
like everything, I suppose. It
yeah,
depends what you are looking for, what you
yeah.
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. That's it's startling,
Yeah.
quite unexpected for me to hear. But thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry that the experience is like that. So, Guillaume, I believe you have a French language podcast.
Yes.
Tell us about your podcast.
So I started this podcast maybe 5 years ago. It's almost, I think, the same podcast than you, but in French. The name is Les Voyages à l'Aveuglette. It means like the blind trips.
Ah,
So I interview some. In the beginning, I was interviewing some French blind people who travel. I also interview some French blind people who live in other countries. Like this, they can describe their life abroad, uh, things like this. And also, I think the half of my podcast is about me. So I
Hmm.
was telling my story in Indonesia, or I built my house there. When my son was born, also, I describe all of it. It was like in the beginning I was still in France, so it was interviewing other people.
Hmm.
But after it's me who became the traveler, so I had the opportunity to tell a lot of stories, and it became a link between my family and my friends here. They can listen it each week and know what I do in Indonesia, what is my life there, really far it's in this country, really different than France. And yeah, and now I'm back in France, so I interview again some French blind people and also some foreigners who are blind. And for example, the last week I published an episode with a man from Palestine who study in the USA, in the New Mexico. So he told me his life when he was a child in Palestine with the war and the situation there.
Yes.
And after he described his life in United States, so the differences between the two countries. So yeah, I like to do it. I really like to exchange, to talk with people from different nationalities, and yeah, and discover new countries, always new cultures. Yeah, makes me very curious. So yeah.
You know, for many years, I
Mm.
have been really wanting to learn more French language.
Okay.
And part of the problem is that I don't know where to find French language audio to listen
Mhm.
to. And I'm just thinking that maybe your podcast is a very good place for me to start.
Why not?
Although I don't
Mm.
fool myself that I will be able to understand a lot
Mhm.
at the moment, because my French is really, c'est mal, it's very bad. C'est très mal. Um, but I I would love to improve.
Yeah,
So yeah, that sounds
you
fascinating.
can. You
And
can.
the gentleman from Palestine that you interviewed, that
Mhm.
was an English language interview?
Yes, yes, yes. I don't speak Arabic, so it was in English.
And was it the first of the episodes that you've done that has an English language to it?
I made one also before, but a long time ago, maybe 3 years ago, with a woman from the Philippines.
Hmm.
It was nice, very nice interview. But I don't do it often because I struggle more in English to find my words and to find my questions, and I feel a little bit I don't know less free
Mhm.
than in French to express my ideas and to ask the questions that I want to ask. So I try to do it, but I have to improve my English also to be able to speak more and to go farther in the debates. Sometimes I can just share some basic information, but I really want to go farther and yeah, to explore some complicated topics. But I always feel blocked, so of course I prefer to talk in French. But yeah, I try.
Well, I think that's what one needs. If you're learning another language or
Mm,
speaking another language, the more you use it,
yeah,
the easier it becomes, I suspect.
I think.
And yeah.
You
S-
have to make efforts, but yeah, in
But
the
I,
end, you will have
mhm.
your reward. Mhm.
But I think your English is good.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
okay, Guillaume, if people would like to listen to your podcasts and if they
Yeah.
would like to learn more about you, how can they find out more?
You can go to all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and you type Les Voyages à l'Aveuglette. It's a little bit complicated, but LES space VOYAGES space A space L apostrophe A VEUGLETTE. Les Voyages à l'Aveuglette, but maybe also in the description of your episode you can write it, write the name of my podcast.
I
Like
will
this,
do
the
so,
people
and the
can.
link. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So it will be easier. If you just speak English, of course, you can listen the 2 episodes that I mentioned that I made in English. And if you speak a little French and you want to improve, like my host today, no problem. You can use also my podcast like this. Especially when I talk about my life in Indonesia, I try to talk slowly, and yeah, it's possible, I think, to develop your French skills with my my podcast, my episodes. So and but I don't have yet a website or blog. It's just you can just find me in those platforms.
Okay. And if people would like to connect with you on social media, are you? Oh, yes, you said you are on social media.
Yeah, but it's like I think you can you can go to my Facebook page also. I have a Facebook page for my podcast.
Okay.
The name of the page is same, Les Voyages à l'Aveuglette, but on Facebook. And so I can give you this link also, and you can contact me from this page if you want to, yeah, to chat and yeah.
Merci. Thank you.
Merci à toi.
Okay. So I've had the privilege of visiting. I haven't been to Bordeaux. I've been to Normandy. I've been to
Good.
Provence. I've been to the Languedoc, and I've been to
Okay.
Paris. But so I know some of the things that I enjoy about France.
Mhm.
But why do you think people, and particularly people with disabilities, why should
Uh,
they visit France?
okay. Like I said before, it's very accessible. So even if you don't have a guide or if you are not accompanied by someone not disabled, you can do everything by your own. And also, I say that the French people don't help a lot, but if you ask, they will do it. What I was meaning by don't help a lot is like they don't go to you
Mm.
straightly. You have to make the effort to talk, to ask. But if you look lost and if you need help, no problem, they will help you. They are kind, and also I think it's different also when you are French and when you are foreigner. The French people are always happy to talk with foreigners and to discover them. But when you are French like them, you are less interesting, of course, because you are like them. So I think it will be your experience with the French people will be better than mine. And also, of course, but as you know, in France, we have everything. We have the sea, we have the mountain. You can come in the winter to ski. You can come in the summer to go to the beautiful beaches. You can go to Corsica. You can go to Provence, like you said, to Nice. We call it Côte d'Azur, the French Riviera.
So,
I like Bretagne also. It's very beautiful. My favorite city in France, I think, for the holiday will be Saint-Malo. It's in
mm,
Bretagne, just a little bit under Normandy. And there you will eat a lot of delicious food. Of course, because France, if you accept the landscapes and the mountains, the sea, you also have delicious food. We are well known, I think, in the world. We are famous in the world for this one. So you will have the bakeries with delicious
oh,
bread and croissant and
croissant.
yeah, of course. And you will eat in Bretagne. If you go to Saint-Malo, you will eat crêpes.
Mm,
And a lot of things. I mean, if you are a cheese lover, France is a perfect country for you because we have a lot of dishes with cheese, melted cheese. When I compare to Indonesia, when you go
mm,
to supermarket in Indonesia, you will have three kinds of cheese. So you go to the supermarket, you just have one row with three kinds of cheese. In France, I think you have two or three big rows with maybe 1,000 different brands or different categories of cheese. So you will, it's very something important for us, the cheese here. The cream also, the butter, all the things made with milk because we have a lot of cows. So yeah, that's very good for eating. And uh, and yeah, that's it. I think that's enough.
I think also the wine, it's
Yeah,
very
if you drink wine,
some
yeah.
yes,
Mm.
yes.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Yeah.
the interestingly, I think Saint-Malo,
Mhm.
that is the city that the book and the series, All the Light We Cannot See,
Yes,
was
that
set in, based
it
just at the
is.
end of the Second World War.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I didn't see this TV show, but yeah, I know it was there. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so the other thing just about the places to visit
Mhm.
in terms of museums, art, I know there's some very good art exhibitions and art galleries in Paris and in France.
Yeah.
And history, there's so much history, so many museums. But how would you say the accessibility of that kind of tourist experience is?
Like all the things in France, it's perfect. I mean, you in each museum, you it's almost sure that you will have a audio guide. Can put the headphones. They give you a small tool, small device, and it will play some description of the exhibition. And for example, you go to one room in the museum and you press one in this device. You press the button one, and it will describe this room. You go to another room, you press the button two, and you can visit all the museum like this with the explanation on your ears. They will also give you sometimes, for example, in Angers, where I live, we have a beautiful castle. And when you go to this castle, they will give you this one, this audio device, but also the Braille book. You can read the stories on it, and you will have I don't know how to say it in English, but you can touch the shape of the castle in the paper. They draw it for you. You can touch
Ah,
it with your fingers.
a
Tactile,
tactile
yeah.
drawing. Yeah.
This one. So you can you have the map, tactile map of the this castle,
Ah,
and that's perfect. I mean, you just and also I think all the museum in France are free for the blind people and free for the people who will come with them. So you will have two free tickets when you go to the museum. So you won't pay anything. Uh, so it's good. It's good for us. Yeah.
great. Thank you for explaining that. And I have used some of the guides, the audio guides
Yeah.
in some museums, but I must be better at asking because I don't always get them. So I must ask more. So,
Yeah, yeah, but and of course also it's always better to have a human guide.
yes,
In all the museums, normally you have someone from the museum who can accompany some groups.
oui.
And it's better to have someone you can ask questions and you can ask him also to describe the things for you. And it's better than to have in your ears something and be alone in your world and don't interact with people. So yeah, if they have a guide available when you come, it's better to ask him. And but if they don't have it,
Mm,
take the audio. Yeah.
oui. Guillaume, merci beaucoup. Thank you very
Merci.
much. It's been so good to learn a little about the experience of living as a blind person in France. And we really appreciate your time coming onto the show today.
Merci beaucoup. Merci à toi. Thank you very much to you. It was a nice experience for me also. And now we know each other, so we stay in touch. And if you want, you can practice your French with me. You can call me, and we will stop to speak English, and we'll only speak in French. It will be challenging, but yeah, you can do it.
Merci. Maybe I will have the
De rien.
courage to try that.
Okay,
But thank you so much for coming onto the show today. It's been
de
lovely to chat to you. Merci. Au revoir.
rien. Au revoir.